Guys, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but we're only a few months away from Season 3 of Smiling Friends.
Let's go out there and make people smile!
Oh my God, I did not think he was going to do that. That scared me. That actually scared me a little bit.
While I don't think Adult Swim has given us like a hard premiere date yet, they told us broadly fall 2025, so I'm still pretty hyped. On top of that, they like stealth drop these new things called Smiling Shorts. And hey, while I fuck with the format, Pim's new eyes kinda aren't sitting with me right. But that has me wondering, what can we expect from Season 3 of Smiling Friends? So while I would usually make like a theory video, I've decided to blatantly rip off Bedtime MMA and bring you my Smiling Friends Season 3 bingo card. Now I'm going to give you the rundown of how this works here in a second, but real quick, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, so for those of you who aren't part of the Bedtime crew, how this whole bingo card thing works, well, okay, y'all know bingo, right? Your grandparents play it. You played it a shit ton at elementary school. Don't need to explain that. What I filled this bingo card with is basically my hopes for the season. These aren't necessarily things I feel like are going to happen, but things I feel like would be cool if they happened. You know, if that's clocking for you.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you.
Now, what happens if you get bingo? That's a great question. I don't know. I'm probably going to buy me the Lego set I've been wanting if I get bingo. But anyway, let's jump into the bingo card. All right, Charlie's uncle. So Charlie's uncle, you know, it's probably my favorite like running joke in the show. I think he first gets mentioned in the Mr. Frog episode back in season 1, where we learn he loves his cars. And then we get a few other jokes that kind of expand on him in the season 2 episodes where the boss gets married, and also the one with Rotten the Snowman. And really what I want out of this is just more jokes about Charlie's uncle. I think they're funny. But if we could actually get Charlie's uncle making an appearance, that'd be cool too. Like, if the guys had to make him smile, they could definitely get some comedy out of that. Okay, while Charlie was like chill hanging out with his grandma, part of me feels like he'd have some weird ego thing with his uncle, and he'd be super short-fused and agitated the whole time. And I kind of like pissed off Charlie a little bit. Alright, next up is a Glepp episode. And hey, it is what it sounds like. So remember how in season 2 we had that episode where it was pretty much just Alan going to get the paper clips? We do that, but with Glepp. And pretty much the main reason I want to see this dude. I mean, Glepp's a funny side character, but I've seen like every episode of Smiling Friends like 3 times over, and I've never seen this dude do anything other than sweep and watch videos on his iPad. And hey, disclaimer, my coworkers would probably say the same shit about me, but I kind of just really want to know what this dude's job is. On top of that, while Glepp speaks, he has that little type mumbly voice, so we don't really know what he's saying. So having a whole episode where characters just interact with that, I think we'd get some top tier, memorable background Smiling Friends character lines. Also, any episode that features Glepp would no doubt have his wife, Marge Simpson, in it, and they draw her very sexy, so that'd be cool. Pim's eyes are normal. Okay, circling back to the smiling short I mentioned in the beginning. So pretty much the rundown of that is Pim got surgery on his eyes to make them smaller because he was super insecure about it. But hey, it turns out his eyes are kind of what a lot of people liked about him. And then it's just awkward as he realized he fucked himself over. And that's funny. I really hope he doesn't look like that for the whole season. If the first episode opens and they're like that and they get him fixed at some point in that episode, I'm fine with that. That'd be funny. That'd be cool. But if he just looks like that all the time, Jesus Christ. I don't know. But if this is just a throwaway joke, it has me question, what's the point of these smiling shorts? Mr. Boss backstory. Okay, so in spite of being weird as fuck, Mr. Boss is kind of one of my favorite Smiling Friends characters. Honestly, now that I think about it, it's because he's weird as fuck. Anytime there's a boss-related gag, it's really funny, but also I just have a lot of questions afterwards. Like, how did this guy happen, dude? He's so weird. Not saying we need to do a full-blown Mr. Boss episode like I'm wanting with Glepp, but just like a few jokes or like him referencing his past would be cool. Because, okay, my main thing I want to know is just, where'd all the money come from, dude, you know? Returning antagonists. So in season 2, there were a couple characters introduced that were sort of direct antagonists to our main characters. Right? We had Alan's landlord from his episode. We had the dude James that rips Charlie's nose off. And this is kind of to a lesser extent, doesn't quite fit this, but there's also Fillmore and Duncan from Pim's UFO Watchers group, right? So after these guys' episodes resolved, in the post-credit scenes, we get a little insight into what they're up to. And that has me wondering, it's like, okay, why are we seeing this? Who is this for? Like, are these guys gonna come back? Alan's landlord, for some reason obsessed with him, definitely is gonna try to seek him out and get revenge. James is kinda in love with Charlie, so he's definitely gonna seek him out again in season 3. Fillmore and Duncan got arrested and are blamed for the murder of that other UFO spotter guy. Listen, I doubt Smiling Friends has a very robust prison system, so I could definitely see them escaping and trying to hunt down Pim. And yeah, they probably would be mad at Charlie too, but they only knew Charlie for like 45 minutes, so Pim is probably just easier for them to find. This would be interesting because the past 2 seasons of Smiling Friends are extremely episodic. There's not really any plot lines that carry over. While yeah, characters like Mr. Frog get introduced and then they come back in like a later episode, the second time they encounter Mr. Frog, it's tangential to his original episode, you know? He's just running against their guy. Opposed to what I think is going to happen with these characters where, like I said, they were introduced as antagonists to our main cast and are going to directly return in such a role later. Regardless, it'd be interesting to see how the Smiling Friends writers approach that and what funny jokes or scenarios they could arise from it. Office basement. Alright, it's no secret the Smiling Friends have a dope office, right? I feel like, though, in the first 2 seasons, we've seen 90% of the interior. You have the front waiting room area, then you have the break room, there's Mr. Boss's office, and then his, like, weird little schizo room up in the attic. And that's cool, but there has to be more, right? Like, if this upcoming season, Mr. Boss just tells Pim to go grab something out the basement, I could see him descending some stairs, and there just being some crazy shit down there. Okay, so this is kind of like a self-promote thing. But about a year ago, I did make a video that mapped out the Smiling Friends office. So them adding a new room like a basement would be the excuse I've been looking for to remake that. But go check that out if you haven't seen it. Fingers crossed for a new location in the office. More Smiling Shorts. I know this is the 3rd time I'm bringing it up, but why are they making these? I think they're funny, and I want as many as they'll give me. But like, are these deleted scenes from episodes that just didn't work in the final cut? Are these episodes they didn't end up making, but they liked the bits so much they just had them animated? I'm just kind of confused. Now, okay, here's the conspiracy brain in me, right? You know how Family Guy is like super popular because the cutaway gags work in short form? So, while Smiling Friends is certainly a very popular show, it suffers from an issue a lot of shows have. When the season ends, the online discourse dries up and you don't really hear anything about it for another 18 months or however till the next season comes out. So maybe they're producing these like for the algorithm and just trying to keep Smiling Friends relevant all the time. Which is cool, and like I said earlier, I'm here for it. AVGN Cameo. Alright, the angry video game nerd, aka James Rolfe. So, Smiling Friends has certainly made it like a trend to have internet personalities cameo in the show, right? Like last season we had Joel Harver, and we also had Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, which is kind of why I'm thinking like, hey, it wouldn't be crazy for the angry video game nerd to show up. Obviously, AVGN and Nostalgia Critic are comparable in the YouTube space. Although I don't know if the Oni's Play crew fucks with angry video game nerd like they do Nostalgia Critic. I've seen so many videos of them doing Doug Walker impersonations, so the angry video game nerd might not be someone they're super familiar with. I don't know. It'd be cool. I think it could happen. Crazier things have almost happened. You know, like Chris Chan was almost the grease puddle in season 1, so this doesn't feel that crazy. Alright guys, so that wraps it up for the Smiling Friends bingo card. I'll probably, maybe not make a video about this, maybe like a short or a post at the end of the season to see if we got bingo. You know, maybe I'll have that Lego set. Fingers crossed. If y'all guys want to make your own bingo cards, I can, let me know in the comments and I can make this template available on like Google Drive for y'all to download. Let me know your favorite Smiling Friends in the comments down below. See you on the next Randograph.